Hi BookTube! My name is Sarah and welcome to The Bookish Knitter. Today I am coming to you with a weekly reads video. This is for week number 44. It is October the 31st through November the 6th. Happy November, everybody. Welcome to the second last month of the year. I can't believe it. I can't believe this year is almost over. It's just crazy. So we're keeping this short and sweet because I'm working today. It's Sunday. I am filming this on Sunday. I'm doing my Sunday for the month. Everybody in the department does one Sunday a month, roughly. This is mine. So that does mean I'm off on Friday. Actually, I'm off Thursday, Friday, which is going to be great. So I don't mind working today at all, but I have to log in at 9 a.m. and it is already 8:30. So we're on a crunch this morning for getting this done, but I wanted to get this filmed because I wanted this video to go up for you guys. So it was going to be a relatively shorter video anyway. I have 4 books that I finished this week. I do have a little bit of knitting to show you, but this wasn't a stellar reading week for me in terms of the types of books that I read. The highest rated book this week was a 3.5 stars. So not the greatest, but I still want to, of course, share with you what I read this week. So before I get into all that though, I wanted to have a very quick little discussion with you guys first. You know, I know you guys really like the vlogs and a part of me is debating. So here's where my thought process is at. I like doing these. I do like doing these sit down discussion with you guys videos. But here's what I'm thinking instead. What I might do is film every day, because I've been filming every day anyway for the shorts. And, you know, save the shorts for something, for this other idea that I have. And instead go back to the vlogs where I just every morning do 2 minutes. You know, like, oh, good morning, everybody. It's Monday. This is what I'm reading today. This is how much I got read yesterday. And if I finished a book, do a review for that book. You know, and then if I don't finish a book in a day, just, hey, this is what I'm reading today. This is how far I got. So kind of going back to the vlogs, but trying not to make them as long as they used to be. And then it's also a little bit easier for me to edit all that together. So that's thought number 1 is to, and I'm trying to make this short and here I am rambling, to bring back the weekly reading vlogs. I know you guys love them. I love them too, to be honest. I do love doing the Friday reads as well. So what I'm thinking is instead of doing a Friday reads, do like a weekend reads. Like this is what I'm going to read over the course of the weekend. Now I'm also usually vlogging for the Create Your Own Readathon weekends. So maybe I will just not do those vlogs and that'll just be amalgamated into, I don't know. Now here's the other thing. Vlogmas. That's where all of this kind of started, was thinking about Vlogmas. Because I am doing Vlogmas this year. What my plan was for Vlogmas is that I have, over here, you guys can just see the side of it right there, the David's Tea calendar. Plus I'm going to be doing my sock yarn blanket. So every day I'll be picking a tea and a yarn to show you guys. And then I thought what I would do is go onto my Harlequin shelves and pull a category romance, a Christmas category romance, whether I've read it or not, and just show it to you guys. Kind of do like, that's my countdown. Like here are 24 different books. Here's the 2014. You know what I mean? So instead of amalgamating that into the regular weekly reading vlog, is I would do a separate video. And originally my thought was to do it as a short. There's not enough time. 1 minute is not enough time for me to show you guys tea, yarn, and a book. That's just, it's too rushed and I don't want to do that. So instead, I think what I'm going to do is do an extra video for the first 24 days of December for the Advent, for Vlogmas, and just do like a 3 or 4 minute long video every day of, how does that sound? Anyway, I'm rambling. Pretty much what I'm asking at the end of the day, guys, is do you guys want to see the weekly reading vlogs coming back? Like, is that something that you guys would like to see? You know, I do enjoy doing them. I said this when I went back to this format of doing the weekly reads, that this will not stick. You know, like sometimes on Sundays, to be completely honest, for me to sit down and film an entire video takes a while. Whereas I do have the time to sit down and film, or to sit down and edit it. You know what I mean? Like, I know that sounds weird, but I have to film this and edit it. Whereas with a weekly reading vlog, I usually was able to edit throughout the week and then would just add all the clips together and then post it on Sunday. So I think that's where I'm going to go. You know what? I'm going to start the vlog back tomorrow and we'll put it up next Sunday and you guys can let me know in the comments anyway. Because like I do some fun things now that I'm not filming. Like yesterday, my husband and I went to a book sale. I didn't even take you guys with me. And with the holidays coming and stuff like that, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to go back to doing. I do really, really like them. And to be completely honest, guys, in terms of views, they always got a lot more views. And again, I'm not trying to play the YouTube game. That's not why I'm here. You know, I do this channel because I love doing this channel. 7 years. I've been here 7 years in January. I think it's 7 years. And clearly I must love doing it because, you know, I'm still doing it after all this time and I still love talking to you guys. And I love our little group that we have. Would I like more subscribers? Absolutely I would. But I'm really happy with, you know, I'm happy with what I'm doing. And I'm happy that I'm not playing the game. And I'm happy that I am not, you know, trying to make this channel into something that it's not. I'm staying true to who I am. I talk about the books that I love to read and you know, things like that, right? So, and not saying, and every other booktuber that I personally watch is doing the same thing. We're all doing this because we truly, truly love it, you know? So yeah, anyway, I'm done rambling. Guys, I have to start work in 22 minutes. So let's get into the books that I finished this week. So the first book that I finished this week was Raven by V.C. Andrews. I gave this book 3 stars. This is book number 4 in the Orphan series. I will be reading the 5th and final book this month, hopefully, called Runaways. This was the one out of the 4 that felt the most like a V.C. Andrews book. That this one was, yeah, it just felt like the most like a V.C. Andrews book. Like it, I felt bad for Raven. So essentially what happens in this one is that her mother she's not technically an orphan because her mother is still alive. But her mother has been taken into jail, for drug charges, and her uncle, her mother's brother, is looking after her, and he is a tyrant. It's very much like a Cinderella kind of story where, you know, she's the, like, you know, ugly cousin who is in there, and she's being made to do all this housework. He's like, you're not living rent-free under my roof. She has to work for everything. She has to do all the cleaning. Her cousin, a girl by the name of Jennifer, is very, very much like the wicked stepsister kind of an idea, or the wicked cousin kind of an idea. She has another cousin, a boy named, I think his name is William, and he's very, very sweet, but very underneath the thumb of his uncle, of like his father. It's a bad situation. There is abuse in here, so do tread cautiously on this one. Child abuse, essentially. And it was a difficult read in parts, but those of you who have read V.C. Andrews know exactly what I'm talking about. This one felt the most like a V.C. Andrews novel. So, you know, it makes me interested to read book number 5, which is going to be a full-length novel. So, yeah, I'll be getting to that one, hopefully this month. So the next one I finished was actually my highest rated book of the week. That should tell you something. And that was The Haunted House by Francine Pascal. This is book number 3 in the Sweet Valley Twins series. I read this one on Halloween, and I think it took me like 40 minutes to read. They're like a 106-page book. I enjoyed this. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was a true Sweet Valley Twins novel. So in this one, Nora is the new girl. She moves into this very creepy house that everybody in town thinks is haunted, or all the kids in town think is haunted. And right from day one, when she comes to the school, the other kids are completely mean to her, of course, except for Elizabeth. Elizabeth is nice to everybody. Elizabeth would be nice to a mass murderer. Let's be realistic. The guy could be killing somebody. She'd be like, are you sure you're okay? Do you want to talk? That's Elizabeth. But all the other kids in school are just horrible to her. Like, I mean, bullying. Big time bullying with this poor girl. So anyway, you know, you have the big scene at the end at Halloween, and everything is kind of revealed about the house and Nora and all those things. And I enjoyed it. 3.5 stars. I thought it was a really fun read. Perfect to read on Halloween. It was, yeah, I enjoyed it. Again, sadly, favorite book of the month. The next one that I finished was Serial Threat by Valerie Hansen. I gave this book 3 stars. This is a love-inspired suspense novel, and this is book number 5 in the Emergency Responder series. So I gave this book 3 stars as well. This was like the week of the 3-star read. So unfortunately, this one did not hit for me the way I wanted it to. So I read Valerie Hansen before, and I really, really like her books. However, the plot of this one was about our main characters, Emily and Noah. Emily is a police officer in this very small town, and Noah is a hotshot lawyer. Like is it a defense attorney? He must be a defense attorney because he defends the guilty person, right? So I watch enough Law and Order. You'd think I knew this. So he's a defense attorney, and she does not like him because of his vocation. Like, you know, oh, here we are as police officers arresting the bad guy, and you are trying to get them off and get them set free, kind of an idea. That's her thought process in it. Whereas he's like, yeah, but maybe you didn't arrest the right guy. You know what I mean? Like, so I really kind of like that argument that was happening within this book, because it is something to think about, right? Like, people are in, like, you know, like the cops are not always right. The lawyers are not always right. You know, like anything could happen. You know, you could arrest the wrong person, or you could be defending a person who is very, very guilty, but you still have to do your job and defend that person because that is your job, right? So anyway, Emily became a police officer when her fiance, who was a cop, died in the line of duty. So she felt the need to become a police officer. So there's now, in this very small town, a serial killer is at work. Hence the name of the book, Serial Threat. So Noah has just come back to town. And he finds out that Emily's this cop. They knew each other when they were younger. They weren't romantically involved, but they knew each other when they were younger. And, you know, he has a very hard time with the fact that she's a police officer, because not that he doesn't, like, he knows her from being a kid. And here she is, like, with a weapon and blah, blah, blah. And throughout the whole book, he kept trying to protect her. And I'm like, dude, she's the one with the gun. Like, she's good. I think she's okay. And she was even getting annoyed at him because he was kind of, like, getting into, like, doing stuff he shouldn't have been doing. Like, she doesn't need you to, like, you know, help is always great. And I'm not trying to say that, but you're not the police officer. She is. Let her do her job. Whereas he was, you know what I mean? So it was this whole thing with the serial killer. Now, that aspect of the book I found very, very interesting. What really sunk this book for me was the actual relationship between Emily and Noah. Right up until almost the end, the two of them were at each other's throats. It was very much it was a childhood friends to lovers story. I say lovers very in a romantic sense because this is a love-inspired, which means it's a faith-based story. There is no adult content in this book at all. But it was also a hate-to-love, clearly, story, because the two of them, they just kept having the same argument over and over again about this whole police arresting the wrong person, defense attorneys, blah, 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 blah. And I just stopped caring at one point. Like, I'm just like, I just want to find out what's happening with these murders. That's what kept me driving throughout the course of the book. So, did not love this one, unfortunately, but I will be reading, this is the first one in the Emergency Responder series I've read. I don't think it's an interconnected series. I think it's just, the series is just all about emergency responders, like police, EMTs, stuff like that. So I probably will continue or go back and read some of the older books in the series. And then the last book that I read this week, I really did not like this one, was Dead Girl Running by Christina Dodd. So this one, when I read the back of this one, I thought, oh my God, that sounds so good. It was about a woman who was fleeing an abusive relationship, and she changed her name, and she has forgotten a year of her life because of something that happened. I'm like, oh, I'm so intrigued. So when you start the book, you meet our main character, Kellen. And she's the one who fled this abusive relationship. She didn't really flee. She did flee. But something happens. I don't want to give too much away in case you do want to read this one. But she ends... I have such a hard time describing this book. What really bothered me about this book was the timeline in this book. You feel like her leaving this situation happened relatively recently. Like, I'd say within a 5-year time span. However, since she left, and she actually assumed somebody else's identity, I don't want to give too much more away than that, she ends up joining the army, becoming like, I don't know ranks in the army, like she was like in charge of other people. She was very good at what she did, and now she's been given, like, she's left, she's retired now, like, not retired, but you know what I mean? I can't remember if she was injured or not. I think she just left, like, she decided, like, she was done being in the army and she was going to go do something else. And now she's managing this resort hotel in Washington State, because that's what one does. So anyway, all of a sudden there's these dead bodies. Like there's this dead person on the beach by this resort. So this is actually 2 stories that are happening. So one, you're getting the story of this person who was found dead on the beach, like this body, and a smuggling operation that's happening out of this hotel. And on the other hand, you're getting Kellen's backstory. What happened with her ex? Is her ex after her? Like, supposedly he died. I try not to give too much away, but whatever. Supposedly he died, but is he back after her? You're trying to find out the truth of what happened to her because she doesn't even remember something that, like, a whole year of her life. And guys, it literally got to the point where I just stopped caring about both things. I'm like, The aspect of the smuggling operation I found interesting, which is I think what really kept me reading it, like wanting to find out like the whodunit. But after that was revealed, there was still like a good chunk of this book left. Like I'd say like a good 10-15% of the book left. And then it delves back into her past and what happened, and you're getting flashback scenarios. And I was just like, okay, whatever. So this is the first book in the Cape, what's it called? The Cape Charade series, which is the name of the town by this resort. So I looked up the series and I'm like, is it about other people? Like, are the next couple of books about other people? But no, they all follow her, and I'm not continuing on the series because I just don't care. I legitimately don't care. I really didn't care for this one. Like, I gave it 3 stars, which is an average rating for me. To be completely honest, it's probably closer to a 2.5. I mean, I finished it, you know, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be going in. It kind of really took a left-hand turn, and it's not the kind of story that I thought. And not that it was a bad story. And I think if it had been more like, okay, this is going to be what it's about. You know, it does say on the back that, you know, like there is this body that was found. But then, you know, it was just, I think the author was trying to do too much. And I mean, I like Christina Dodd. Don't get me wrong. I've read her before and I really like her romantic suspense. But this one just fell flat for me. So anyway, so that is everything that I read this week, you guys. Bear with. All right, I still have a few minutes. So what am I currently reading? So I have 3 books on the go, you guys, because I have a problem. So the first book that I am reading is a cozy mystery. And that is, pardon me, I've got the hiccups, you guys. That is, oh my goodness. Okay. Potions and Pastries by Bailey Kate. Sorry for the glare. This is the 7th book in the Magical Bake Shop Mystery Series, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm about 30 or 40% of the way through it. I'm hoping to get some read today. Again, working from home today, but it is Sunday, so it might be a little bit quieter. Maybe after I get all my work done, I'll have a bit of reading time. We shall see. So then yesterday, I decided, hey, you know what would be fun, Sarah? You should start 2 brand new books. So I did. So yesterday I decided the thing is that I always do like having a Harlequin book on the go. I really, really do. So I decided to pick up one of the ones that I had on my list for this month. And I am 15% of the way through this one right now. And I did start Wyoming Winter Rescue by Juno Rushdan. This is the first in a new series, and I am really liking it so far. So our main character, I think her name is Lynn. She is a psychologist. And at the very beginning of the book, this patient who clearly has some issues kind of comes into the clinic and pulls a gun on her. And her boyfriend, the guy on the cover whose name I can't remember, I think it's Nash, he shows up and, you know, they're able to deal with the gunman. But the story's going to go from there. So yeah, I'm only a couple chapters into this, but so far I'm really enjoying it. And then I also decided to start another library book, and that is The Unholy by Heather Graham. It's been sitting there staring at me for weeks now since I went to the library, and I'm only about that far into it right now, a couple chapters. But this one takes place in California, old Hollywood film noir, and so far I am really, really enjoying it. So yeah. Anyway, crafting. Yeah, I have a new pair of socks that I started, you guys, and it wasn't on purpose. Well, it was, I started the pair of socks because I wanted to start the pair of socks, but we had an incident this week. If you watched the vlogs, or not the vlogs, if you watched the live sprints that I hosted on Thursday night, you will have heard this story very briefly. So what happened was the socks that I had been working on, I put them back in their bag. I think it was Monday night. I was knitting on them in bed. And then I came in here and I put them up on this shelf. They tipped over during the night and fell on the floor. Okay, the bag fell on the floor. Under normal circumstances, that's not a bad thing. In this house, bad thing. Because unfortunately, Bernard, my old cat, like he's probably about 16 or 17 now, he's a jerk, to be polite. He's a jerk. And he tends to pee on things that he's not supposed to, like at places outside of the litter box, if you will. I know a lot of you have asked in previous videos and before when I used to sit like facing with my bookshelves behind me at my desk, that the shelves on the bottom of my bookshelves are actually empty. That's on purpose because Bernard has peed on those books before and I've lost a lot of books to that. So you guys are probably all seeing where this is going. That knitting bag was on the floor that night and I came in here in the morning and Jerkface had peed on it. So the socks were destroyed. I tried to think of a way to save, like the one sock that I was finished, I could probably have washed it and it would have been fine. But the sock that was half knit, I would have had to have completely pulled it apart and soaked all that yarn in the tub, and I was just too angry. You guys, to be completely honest, I was too angry. And the sad part is that I couldn't yell at him. Like, I couldn't yell at Bernard because he doesn't remember what he did. It was probably hours and hours earlier. So, I mean, I was really upset. Like, don't get me wrong. I wasn't cuddling going, oh, you know, like, I was really upset about it. I did pull the needles out. I pulled the little stitch markers off. I washed all of those. I pulled the yarn out, put it in a bag, threw it all out, the sock and the yarn. And then I took the knitting bag itself and I ran that through the washing machine. So that was okay. So now we have to be very careful about where we put our things. So I did start a new pair of socks because I wanted to start a new pair of socks. So after I got off my, after I relaxed from my initial anger, I picked some sock yarn that I had in my stash. So the colorway for this one, this is from a company called Dancing Dog Dye Works. She no longer makes yarn, unfortunately. Her stuff was amazing. But this felt very Christmassy to me, like a retro Christmas with the pink and the red and the green. But the colorway is actually called Strawberry Shortcake, which I can absolutely see as a child of the 80s. It's absolutely Strawberry Shortcake. So I did start a new pair of socks, and I'm just knitting these, just plain knitting, and that's how far I've gotten. Again, this is the top of the sock, so I'll be knitting down. I'm not doing any pattern in this. I'm just doing the stripe. So yeah, I'm enjoying these. This is very mindless knitting before bed, and that's exactly what I wanted. So, and it's living in this really, really cute polar bear bag with kind of Christmassy snowflake interior material. So that's what happened to the socks. I did not get really, I put 2 squares in my blanket, but I'm not going to show that to you guys because it's only 2 squares. Not terribly interesting, but yeah, so that's the crafting for this week, you guys. It's been a bit of a busier week. I've been in the office most days. I'm going to be in the office Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, or this coming week. But yeah, as I discussed at the very beginning of this video, vlogs will be coming back to the channel. I'll be starting that back up tomorrow. So you will see a vlog from this channel next Sunday. But I have videos coming up all this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Because I'm vlogging, again, I might do, instead of a Friday reads, I might do like a weekend reads. Like, these are the books I plan on reading over the course of the weekend. So even though it's going to be like a vlog, it'll still be, yeah. And then I think I'm going to leave the shorts for other things. I'm not going to do daily shorts anymore. And I think I'm going to definitely, though, do an extra video in December, every day in December for Vlogmas. So I think that's my game plan. Yeah, that's going to be my game plan. So I just had to talk it out loud, you guys. I got to go. I got to log into work, and I will talk to you in my next video. Take care and happy reading, everybody. Bye.